Kol Holo Yahweh Ba'ashum Yahweh Ba'ashum Rakach Wadash, the bonds of the apostles, the bonds of the elders, at Great Millstone who rule well. It's all in this truth. Much respect to you brothers out there, preach his word and truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of earth. The tabernacle of David that's being risen up right before your very eyes, the hopeful elect, and the speckled bird. To you, I say shalom. All right, today's lesson, I want to get into the roles being reversed, as the scriptures speak of in 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Right, Esau. Matter of fact, we'll go. Right, let's go ahead and get it instead of just quoting it. Right, because this is the main focus of this lesson. 2nd Ezra 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Right? Esau, Edom, was prophesied to be ruling at the end. And after his rulership, Jacob, which is the Israelite, which consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, speckled bird, people scattered abroad, right? It was prophesied that we have next, right? And so, getting into this lesson, you have cats like this nigga Sneeko, which is high probability this nigga could be a tear, right? I believe his father is supposedly a Benjamite or a Levite, I forget, and he has appeared to be Edomite mother, which she could be a J, could not. But regardless how he moves, how he conducts himself, I'm like, bruh might be one of them tears. But regardless, right, you're going to have Jakes that want to save and want to join unto Esau, Edom. As the scriptures speak of, though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished, right? Though you may try to save him, the Lord ain't going to save him, right? That's not going to disannul the Lord's judgment that the Lord has pronounced upon the Edomites, right? And so, yeah, you'll have cats like this that want to stand up for Esau, Edom, and hey, we're pretty much a byword. We're pretty much, we're looked at as the violence of the earth when really he's the violence of the earth. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he's the violence of the earth. And it's all being exposed right before our very eyes. I want to play a little bit of this video. Hey, fair use. I want to play a little bit of this video, and we'll get into some more scriptures, right? Let me, once again, fair use. I'm going to just fast forward it just a little bit. I believe this is where I want to be. If not, a Salakia. It's all through the spirit. Let's go ahead and turn this.
Know to be true because they don't also want to be called racist. Yeah, so they have to live in fear like black folks.
So Salakia, so for those that haven't watched this video, he's pretty much this damn nigga Sneeko, right? The light bright brother on the left, right? Light bright brother on the left, right? Well, I should say my left, right? He's saying that Jake, right, so-called Negroes, is out here causing Ammon hurt out here, when you go into the statistics, as this nigga named Abba goes into, it was completely false. And as our elders been saying, Esau Edom is going back to his pseudoscience, his technocracy, right? He's going back into those playbooks, right? False accusing. And if he's a Jake, he got Jakes like this doing the work for him. Let's get into this video.
Hate crimes or, for whatever it might be.
The Asian and black community ain't tight. I think that's probably the furthest apart community.
I always tell people the day the Latino, African-American, Asian, and other communities realize that they share the same oppressor is the day we start winning. But
It's really on the Lord's time, but the Lord has a remnant, right? The Lord has a remnant that's going to wake up and realize this and wait patiently upon the Lord. What's happening right before our eyes, this man Esau Edom is being exposed. All the nations are seeing who is the devil that the Bible speaks of, right? Who is the devil that the Bible speaks of? And he's right there oppressing all the nations, right? We just read in 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, it was prophesied that Esau Edom will be ruling the earth in these last days, right? And so he has oppressed the nations. And not only that, he has spread out his wine. And so the nations are waking up.
Is our communities are divided. They're completely divided. And I talk about this all the time, is that like for Asian Americans and for African Americans, we probably have one of the worst relationships between any community.
We don't really intersect or interact at all. We don't really live around each other at all. But there's a liquor store, beauty store, or nail salon in just about every black community that's owned by Asian people. So if they were so terrified of black people, they wouldn't have those stores in all black locations.
It could be homelessness, like you said, drug.
And that's part of the curses too, right? Which you'll go into, the stranger being able to build and you not being able to, profit, your money, your cash flow, pretty much all these curses are upon us, right? And that's why these other nations, when they come into your neighborhood, Jake, they get rich off of you, right? You got Moab and Ammon, you got Ishmael, Elam. They come with the gas stations, all these stores, A lot of times they feeding you food that they wouldn't eat themselves, right?
But like black folks will go after him, kind of thing.
Abba is not pushing back. Please push back. That is a lie.
I didn't know this until like a second ago. Was just like, so this is all I found on this. It says, and I'll put it up on the screen so you can see it. I'll pull it up on the.
That's what I just found.
Let's expand this a little bit. You can read it yourself, and I will read it out loud.
Scholars have challenged the Black-Asian conflict narrative by highlighting that white perpetrators commit over 75% of anti-Asian hate crimes. I remember the stat. So what's considered a hate crime is also verbal. So if you call someone, if you yell at...
So there's actually a stat directly...
Get this nigga out of here, man.
Contradicting what Sneeko said. Instead of taking a second to digest the stat and maybe say he was wrong, he's going to try to explain around it without any facts.
Somebody that's labeled as a hate crime.
Slog you. Title. I still got scriptures I want to throw in there, right? As you see right here, right? The Edomites, all right, grape, offenses against family and children, aggravated assaults and arrests, violent crimes, arrests overall, and you see the statistics, right? This man has been exposed. It's in 2019, pretty much saying the same thing as you get into this video as the brother getting into, right? It says Edomite perpetrators committed the majority of anti-Asian hate during the C-19. You see that? The majority. And it appeared to be a Moabite or Ammonite. He said, he said, you got to realize who's oppressing all of us, man. And that's Esau Edom, right? Studies analyze news reports and official data indicates that Edomite individuals responsible for over 75% of anti-Asian hate crimes and incidents during this period, right? And so you have a nigga like this that want to do Esau Edom's bidding and say, nah, it's Jake. Jake was the one that was doing this, right? When their own statistics prove them wrong, right? And that's that perpetual hatred, man. Let me see if there's a little more in this. Slacky.
What was really important from hate crimes, because I think the statistic is manipulated, is violent attacks. The violent attacks, they are separate from a hate crime. That's why I think the stat's manipulated.
Okay. Do you have any statistical number that shows that black could be violent?
Yeah, I could look up the definition of hate crime.
No, you don't need the definition of hate crime. he's moving the goalposts now.
No. I'm asking if you have any.
Let me see. Might fast forward this, Slacky.
women were attacked. And
I need something when I'm gonna make a statement like that, because
something you need
against the black community. This is why I say Sneeko is racist and a white supremacist.
literally, right? Because I heard from 2-3 people.
I mean,
They repeat it and all of a sudden it becomes a truth, because if you repeat a lie a bunch of times, it eventually becomes a truth. That's literally what Sneeko is doing. Again,
and that's pretty much what happens. You know, the Edomite says, you know, because they have that perpetual hatred, as you read in Ezekiel 35, right? They have that perpetual hatred towards Jake, and they say it over and over, and you know, the people start believing it. Oh yeah, you know what? It is Jake doing this. Nah, when yeah, Jake out here wilding, the 2/3 out here wilding, but they not wilding like Esau, Edom, right?
it's the black community. This is why I say Sneeko is racist and a white supremacist.
Literally, right? Because I heard from 2-3 people and they said they do it, so that's it. And then
Right.
you repeat it online, and it's like
He repeats it online to his racist ass community. Yes.
have implications. You're telling your audience that black folks are going to be more violent in these kinds of situations, especially against Asians. Be wary when the numbers don't really bear it. I know you've explained why you don't think that.
well,
but
once
like
again, once again, this hate crime statistic is not accurate.
What statistic or fact do you have to say it's not accurate? You can't just see a stat and say that's not accurate, but you don't have anything to counter it or correct it.
because they don't have the
Doing Esau, Edom's bidding, just throwing it out there, man, and just throwing it out there.
The problem to me,
Let me see.
It's the same with Asians. Every community
There we
hurts
go.
or commits violence against their own community more than any other community does.
Anyways, let's get into this over here, right? Have this, man, this is about 2 years ago now. If I'm not mistaken, this was about 2 years ago, right? And what is the big noses still doing? They still out here committing war crimes. And this was once again from 2 years ago. This is about guilty of apartheid, right? It says, in short, Israel, an apartheid state occupying Gaza, illegally annexed the WB, violating determination. This is illegal, so it must end occupation, and check this, fully repair, compensate Palestinians, including the right of return and dismantling settlements. This is what they were supposed to do. But here it is 2 years later, they are still committing war crimes, right? The Edomite, right? As I read, the crime of apartheid is defined by the 2002 Roman Statute of International Criminal Court as inhumane acts of character similar to other crimes against humanity committed in context of an institutionalized regime or systematic oppression and domination by one racial group over other racial group. And this is against the Palestinians, right? How much more to Jake? The scriptures speak of her sins has reached up into heaven. Though these damn Edomites try to wipe away history, try to say slavery didn't exist. You got paid for working out there in the fields, and you know, just trying to wipe away history, rewrite history, right? The Lord has remembered your sins. You are the oppressor of the earth. Scriptures speak of how has a hammer of the earth ceased, just roughly paraphrasing, man, right? And we seeing this right in front of our face, right? With the fouls, right? A lot of stuff being covered up, right? One of the biggest cover up of human history, of them doing so much wickedness, right? This is Esau, Edom, exposed. You have been exposed, right? And let's get this, right? I'm going to get this right here. Job 30 verse 9. And now I am their song, yea, I am their byword. They abhorred me, they flee far from me, and spare not to spit in my face, you see? Now we're the song, now we're the byword, right? Let's go up here. Job 30 verse 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. This is the spirit of the Edomites. That you wouldn't even want your own dogs who throw up and eat they throw up, all right? Sniffing butts, all right? You know, it's like you, brother. It's like you, my folly. But you know, for those that have dogs or been around dogs, you know how they roll, all right? Right? Dogs can, hey, they're very loving, they're very cuddly, very, you know, beautiful animals in their own right, very loyal, right? They can do some disgusting things, but you wouldn't even have your own dog around these people, man. Cause look it up. Well, you don't even have to look it up. Just, you know, take my word from it, from seeing all these people that's been Edomites that's been put into jail or whatever for doing some unseemly things with animals. I'm gonna say it like that, right? Verse 4, who cut up the meshels by the bushes and the juniper roots for their meat. So at one point, right, the Lord put them in this beast-like state, which they're still in the beast-like state anyways, right? But at one point, they was in a beast-like state after the Holy Roman Empire, right, when Jake was ruling the Byzantine Empire, which they like to call the Black Ages, a time where there was no innovation, sickness, and just a whole bunch of nothing going on, right? Esau Edom was in that beast-like state, right? They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief. You see Edom, hey, get away from here, man. I don't want nothing to deal with you, man. You and your wickedness, all right? Weird ass, nigga. To dwell in the cliffs of the valley, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they braved, and under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools. You see this? They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. You see that? Children of fools, children of base men, viler than the earth. But now as we read in verse 9, and now I am their song, yea, I am their byword. You see? Now the roles is a verse. They putting out these fake statistics, or they're being false accusers. Yeah, Jake is doing all this crazy. No, the statistics as we just got, that's all you, buddy. That's all you. That's all you. Right? Let's get this right here. Right? They abhor me. They flee far from me and spare not to spit in my face. You see? Because they have loosed my cord and afflicted me, and they also let loose the bridle before me, and upon my right hand riseth the youth, and they push away my feet. They rise up against me the ways of their destruction. You see? Matter of fact, they mar my path. They set forward my calamity. They have no helper. You see? And that's the way of the Edomite. What was it, last month? Elder Malcolm highlighted a video of the Edomites racing, right? Edomites and Jake racing. And the Edomites got the head start. And they set out throughout the obstacle course, traps for Jake to, to get caught in with, And that's the way of the Edomite. That's the way of the Edomite. You have this head start, and you're truly not the best. All right, the alpha of the world, right? Because if you were the best at your class, you wouldn't set forth these traps. And that's the way of the Edomites, man. All right, so we're going to get some judgment, right? Going to read a little bit of this. Matter of fact, before I get in that, Let's get this right here in Job 21 verse 7. Wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yea, are mighty in power? Their seed is established in the sight with them, their offspring before their eyes. Their houses are safe from fear, neither the rod of power is upon them. So it seems as though they're prospering. They're doing good. They're doing great, man. The scriptures speak of, getting ahead of myself. Don't be envious of the wicked, though it may seem like they prosper. The hand of the Lord is going to strike them down eventually, right? Let's see. Their bull gandered and felleth not. Their cow cleaveth and casteth not her calf. They send forth their little ones like a flock, and their children dance. So Esau, Edom, for a long time is been on top. He doing good. He doing great. He don't have to worry about no famine, no pain. Their children is safe, right? They're doing good. They're at the top, right? Matter of fact, verse 13, they spend their days in wealth, and the moment go down to the grave. You see? That's what it seems like, man. Right? Let's see. I want to jump down. Verse 19, power layeth up his iniquity for his children. He rewardeth him, and he shall know it. His eyes shall see his destruction, and he shall drink of the wrath of the Almighty. For what pleasure he have in his house after him, and the number of his months is cut off in the midst, right? That's coming. Esau, Edom is about to get cut off, right? So we're going to get some judgment, right? Job 21 and verse 30. That the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction. They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. You see that? That's coming. So no matter all your pandering to the Edomite, buck dancing for these niggas, right? That's not going to save them. They have a judgment that is pronounced upon them, right? It's already been set forth since the foundation of the earth, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Let's get some more. Job 5 and verse 8. And it's a lot of Job today, right? Fire book. Job 5 and verse 8. I will seek unto power, and unto power I will commit my cause, you see. We out here on the highways and byways and making our call and election sure, right? Which doeth great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without wonder. Who giveth rain upon the earth and sendeth waters upon the fields, to set up on high those that be low, and those which mourn may be exalted to safety. You see, you're in the house of mourning, you're going to be exalted to safety. You're going to see the fall of your enemy. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. This is coming, right? Because we know the big enterprise that he's setting up right now is the MOTB. And he's going to get a lot of people hipped up, right? But the elect is going to be saved from that. And the elect is going to see the fall of their enemies, right? World War III going to pop off. Those nuclear missiles going to pop off, right? Let's get some more. He disappointed the devices of the... We already read that. Verse 13. He taken the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime and grope in the noonday as in the night. But he saved the poor from the sword, and their mouth from the hand of the mighty, you see. Right now, Esau, Edom is still over us. He's still the mighty one over us. But we're going to be delivered. We're going to be saved from him. So the poor have hope, and iniquity stopping her mouth. You see that? So that's coming, man. Right? This is just a little quick hit. I had some more for the sake of time. I may make a part 2 on this. But with that, shalom.